Howdy there. So, a couple of days ago, I saw Drive, and I really liked it. Gonna give it a 9. Let me say that I can't wait to see it again, so maybe my opinion will change slightly, one way or the other. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was unique. I haven't seen a lot of movies or a movie like that. Very original. Very weird. Very cool. Very colorful. I found it to be a moving postcard of Los Angeles. This is very much an LA movie. As LA as Chinatown, as LA as Boogie Nights. This is an LA movie. So I really enjoyed that. Even the street that I work on, Sherman Way, gets a shout out in the movie. So that is very cool to me. It's very good. Very violent. It is shockingly violent at some points, but it's always very brief. And sometimes the violence you want to see the most happens off screen. So I think that's very intelligent, very clever. Really enjoyed it. It's about a driver. He's a stunt driver for the motion picture business. He also picks up side money to be the getaway driver for robberies. So, he drives, and he says that, he drives. He doesn't do much else other than drive. For pleasure, he goes out and drives. For dates, he goes out and drives. He is a driver. And let's see, so he picks the wrong job, bad luck, as one of the characters said. And basically, it's the story of the mob doing something stupid, pinning it on one, what do they call it, patsy, and then having to kill everybody because, they made a mistake. And the only thing they understand is violence, and to rectify this mistake, they must slaughter everyone. And he does not want to be slaughtered. In a nutshell, that's what it's about. He also has a romantic storyline with a neighbor. Also, basically the inspiration for him taking that unlucky job. So there is that. Lots to like. Let's see. Driver is played by Ryan Gosling. Carey Mulligan is in there. She's the romantic interest. Albert Brooks is the bad guy. Ron Perlman is another bad guy. Let's see. Bryan Cranston is the driver's mentor / caretaker. What else? Who else? Those are the big ones. If one pops in there, I'll mention it. But all of the acting is very good. The movie is very stylized. It's a very stylish movie. In a way, I almost want to call it an experimental film, just because it was so focused. Very focused. It's the brainchild of, I hope I'm saying his name right, Nicholas Winding Refn. I think this is his third film. He did, I've only seen his first film, and I'm not sure if it's his first film, but Bronson. I've seen Bronson, really enjoyed Bronson, but more for Tom Kane's, I believe that's his name, right? Bronson, the main character. his performance. I mean, his performance amazed me. He basically has a huge career now because of that film. Anyway, Ren did that film. He also did Valhalla, which I have not seen yet. I've had on my blockbuster queue forever, and it's been on long wait forever. So I hope to see that soon, because definitely I'm really wanting to see that. And I want to see Drive again, too. This is definitely, again, I've only seen one other, but this is very visually ambitious. This is a very ambitious project. He gets very stylized performances out of his actors, and in a way, it's not bad, but you'd think that the performances are more one note, just because, with the exception of Ryan Gosling, but there's really only a few main characters in the whole movie. But they do show levels, but they have to be kind of in the same emotional headspace for their entirety of their character. You know, they have this one emotion to definitely deliver. And then he picked some of the best actors in the business to be these characters, so they all deliver fine and layered performances in where lesser talent would have been just one note. You know, Ryan, there's a lot of staring off into space in this movie. There's lots of quiet in this movie. The dialogue is... it feels like the characters are thinking. You know, it feels like the characters are in this terrible situation. They're not following a script. They don't know what to do. What is a human going to do? They're going to sit there and think about how they can get out of this bad situation. And there's a lot of thinking in this movie. The romantic storyline that develops, there's a lot of thinking. Because in a situation where, okay, I could, love this woman forever, but she's involved with a man, she has a child, this is something I have to think about. This is something I have to weigh over. And we get to see that. You know, it's realistic in that sense. I would hope there's many unrealistic things that happen in this film, because wow, a lot of bad things happen, but I thought it did show a very human side. It is a very human story. There's a lot of silence in the film. Someone will say something to the Ryan Gosling character, and he will make some facial expressions, some odd facial expressions, and he will think about what he has to say. And what he has to say is only a couple of words. So I think that's interesting. He's a man of few words, but it's all up there on his face, because Ryan Gosling is a child actor. He's been in the business for a long, long time. The man knows what he's doing. You know, the man is incredibly talented. Albert Brooks, again, I want to stress that this is an LA film, and I think that's a part of why Albert Brooks is so good here. Albert Brooks is, in a show business family. He's not the first generation. His parents were in, show business, so he is a generational star. He's also a writer-director. I think he is very much LA. He does films about LA, and now here he is in an LA movie. And it's Albert Brooks like you've never seen him before. I mean, that's what people are talking about this film. He's definitely got an Oscar nomination coming to him. No doubt. No doubt. He's icy, he's steely, he's scary, he's brutal, he's a killer. He's an ice-blooded killer, and I totally believe it. And even though I have grown up on Albert Brooks's films and know how funny and sweet he is, not in this movie. This is something totally against type, and I really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. He is excellent here. But again, that it's a very LA feel. The soundtrack is something I want to mention. I didn't know any of the music. I think it's basically like a soundtrack, and I want to say that it's 80s new wave. I don't really know any of the music in the film. So I don't know much about 80s new wave, but it felt very, it could be modern, new wave, but I don't know. I know that the film was inspired by driving around and listening to, 80s music. So that permeates the film. And I don't know, again, gives it this otherworldly, ethereal feeling. It certainly helps. Also, the cinematography helps with that. It's very colorful, but everything has like this pastel hue to it. It's very soft for this hard story, which is interesting. And that pastel, it makes me think of Miami Vice, with all of the pastel colors in that. And I'm talking about, I guess somewhat the movie, but the television show with the pastel colors, that 80s music. It very much felt like that. So it gives it this throwback feel while being totally original, totally unique, and totally forward-thinking. The only other film I thought about while watching this film was a few years ago, I want to say in 2009, Ty West made The House of the Devil. If you've never seen The House of the Devil, that's a must-see. You have to see House of the Devil. It was a modern horror film, shot and made as if it were in the 80s, even down to the film, I think. That's the only film I thought of while watching this film, and it's because of that retro look. It perfectly matched that retro look while needing to be in present day. So that again, cool. It's wall to wall cool. I don't really know what else to say. Again, the violence is shocking. Very well done, very gory, very brief. You're shown things very quickly, and then they're left to live on in your imagination. And then again, I thought it was it's just a very intelligent film, but there is a climactic battle scene, and it occurs off camera, and in a way that's frustrating, but we know what's happening. So at first I was like, what? But then I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the tease. I don't know what else to say about it. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully with my second viewing I can have some more insight, but I really like this movie. One of the best movies of the year. It's a solid 9. I think it's a must-see. That's Drive. Thank you.